It's Monday, April 13th, 2026, the 102nd day of the year, and we're heading into a massive stretch of severe weather across the United States. By Tuesday alone, nearly 36 million people could be in the path of tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. And that's just one part of a multi-day setup that keeps reloading. So let's dive right in. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we're looking at over 12 million people under threat from a split severe weather setup. Two completely different zones to watch here. Up north, we've got a warm front stretching from Minneapolis to Milwaukee. That's going to act as the trigger for storm development. Down south, it's a volatile dry line from Oklahoma City to the Texas border, another area that could spark severe storms. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Some high-resolution models overnight tried to push the northern risk farther north, but I'm not fully buying that. I still think the I-90 corridor, especially around the Twin Cities, is the prime zone. Madison, Wisconsin, right in that target area too. Chicago and Detroit, you're more on the edge of this, but still close enough to pay attention. Timing is going to be tricky. There's a strong cap in place, a layer of warm air acting like a lid on the atmosphere. That's going to keep storms suppressed for much of the day. Add in that warm front lifting north, and it might actually feel pretty nice outside early on. But then things change. Late afternoon, the air turns noticeably muggy. That's your signal the warm front has moved through. And then between about 4 p.m. and 8 p.m., right during the evening commute, that cap breaks. When it breaks, storms explode. I'm highly confident storms will develop along that northern warm front. The exact placement is still being refined as the surface low tracks near the Minnesota-Iowa border, but the signal is strong. And the fuel? A steady southwest flow pumping mid-60s dew points into the upper Midwest. That's a loaded atmosphere. Now down in Texas and Oklahoma, it's a different story. This is highly conditional. Some models show nothing at all, no storms. But if one manages to break through that cap, it's tapping into over 2,500 joules per kilogram of instability. That's extreme energy. Any storm that forms down there could go absolutely ballistic, producing destructive winds, large hail, and possibly an isolated tornado. Low probability, but very high impact. If you've got plans Monday evening anywhere near the I-35 corridor, you need to stay alert. Keep your radar app ready and know where your nearest shelter is. Now let me zoom in on what concerns me most, the Twin Cities metro. Rochester, Owatonna, Madison, this area needs your full attention. The ceiling on these storms is high. The greatest tornado and giant hail threat will align right along that warm front from southeast Minnesota into south-central Wisconsin. And I'm more confident in this setup now than I was yesterday, especially the hail threat. People keep asking, is this a hail event or a tornado event? The answer depends on the warm front. Wind shear profiles strongly support supercells, but whether you get tornadoes or just hail depends on your position relative to that boundary. If the warm front passes you, it'll feel noticeably more humid, and if a storm hits after that, it could be surface-based and capable of producing a tornado. North of the front, storms will still be intense, but elevated. That means more of a hail threat. And we're not talking small hail, we're talking apples, 3 inches in diameter, that can shatter windshields and cause serious damage. If you're near Rochester or Owatonna, get your car inside before 3 p.m. Monday. Now back to the southern plains. Storm coverage will be limited, but the environment is extremely volatile. The dry line sets up across western North Texas into southwest Oklahoma. Wind shear of 40 to 50 knots is in place. If a storm breaks, it's a problem. We're talking destructive hail, isolated tornadoes, and with ongoing drought conditions, flash flooding could develop quickly due to rapid runoff. And here's the scary part. These storms could develop fast. You might only have 10 minutes between the first raindrop and a tornado warning. So make sure your alerts are on, your phone isn't silenced, and your weather radio is ready. Now, I wish I could say Monday is the peak, but it might not be. Tuesday is the day that really stands out. We're looking at a widespread, volatile, severe weather outbreak with around 36 million people at risk. That's slightly down from earlier projections, but still massive. The highest threat stretches from the lower Missouri Valley into the Great Lakes. Cities like Chicago, Detroit, Kansas City, you're all in this. Timing? Storms begin between 3 and 6 p.m. and continue well past midnight. That makes this a dangerous nocturnal event, storms hitting while people are asleep. And honestly, I'm a bit concerned timing could shift earlier. If the cap breaks sooner, storms could fire before people are ready. The atmosphere is trending more unstable today than yesterday. This is currently a slight risk, but I would not be surprised to see an upgrade. Here's why. A strong upper-level system is moving out of the Rockies and colliding with rich Gulf moisture. That clash will likely generate a large squall line. But before that line forms, we'll likely see discrete supercells. Those are the ones to watch. Wind shear ramps up to 60 to 70 knots Tuesday. That's prime for rotating storms capable of strong tornadoes and very large hail. Then as evening sets in, storms could merge into a powerful line, bringing 70 to 80 mile-per-hour winds. That kind of wind can knock down trees, rip siding off homes, and cause widespread power outages. This is serious. If you're in Chicago or Milwaukee, daytime plans are probably okay, but after sunset, stay weather aware. Have your shelter plan ready. We'll likely be live covering it. Now Wednesday, no break. Another 32 million people in the threat zone, extending up to Milwaukee. A broad 15% severe risk stretches from Dallas up the Mississippi Valley. Deep moisture, advancing dry line, and a strong system moving through the plains will trigger another round of storms. Expect a mix of supercells and organized storm lines. Damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes all possible again. And here's something important: fatigue. This will be day 3 of active severe weather. People start tuning out. Don't. This could be your day. Thursday shifts the threat east into the Ohio Valley, lower intensity but still worth watching. And then guess what? Friday reloads the pattern again. Another system emerges from the Rockies, bringing strong wind shear and a moist, unstable setup back into the plains and Midwest. Another 15% risk already being highlighted. This pattern is stuck. If you've got outdoor plans next weekend in the central U.S., start thinking backup plans now. Now let's flip the script for a second. California, you win. Tuesday looks absolutely beautiful. San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco, you're under a dry, stable air mass. Sunshine, low humidity, dew points near 50. Highs in the 60s to low 70s. Coastal areas around the low 60s with a light ocean breeze. Perfect weather. Meanwhile, the rest of the country is dealing with chaos. All right, that's everything for today. Stay alert, stay prepared, not scared. Drop a like if this helped, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll keep you updated every step of the way. I'll see you in the next video.